right. I think we are live once again. Day 12, second plus. Today we got a special guest. You want to introduce yourself? Yeah, or the 701. The questions overlap. So, um, yeah, we'll be doing section 4 today, operations and incident response. And the goal is just to rapid fire these questions, get the timing down, and then, once we're done with 4 and 5, uh, jump into some questions in the book or practice tests. So we start timing ourselves and just completing those and sharing with the audience. So with that being said, uh, let's get it going. All right, I'll take the first one. What is a popular vulnerability scanner with a large database to identify known vulnerabilities? So, which tool is a popular vulnerability scanner with a large database to identify known vulnerabilities? This is a Nessus question. Nessus is a popular vulnerability scanner with a large database, and it also identifies vulnerabilities. Answer is C. Yep. Nessus is a popular vulnerability scanner, large database to identify known vulnerabilities. It is one of the most popular vulnerability scanners in the industry and has extensive reporting and information to help identify and resolve vulnerabilities in the system. And then explains Nmap. Nmap is a network mapping tool. HPing is a ping tool that provides more information than a simple ping. And Harvester is a tool used to gather open source intelligence. All right. And then there's a Professor Messer video going over the reconnaissance section. So really nice there. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. That was an easy question. All right, I'm gonna let you take this one. My the other guy in the chat, right? All right, he's going with cat C. Let's see if he's right here. Looks like he got it right. Yep. You can see the screen fine, right? All right, cool. All right, easy. Um, what tool is specifically designed to run programs in a virtualized environment and identify any malware present? Um, to run programs in a virtualized environment and any malware present. This sounds like a. So I do remember a question like this. I think this is a Cuckoo question. I think it's going with D here. Yep. Cuckoo is a sandbox tool that is specifically designed to run programs inside a virtualized environment and identify malware present. It can perform API calls, identify network traffic, and perform memory analysis. This tool is useful for evaluating different executables and confirming they are safe before deploying them in an environment. And then it explains what HPing is. HPing is a tool that sends packets to a target host and analyzes the response. And Nessus is a vulnerability scanner used to identify known vulnerabilities, like in question one. And then Scanless is a tool to perform port scans through a proxy. All right. So those I get slightly worded differently. Yep, I agree. Let's go. Let's see. You want to go over any of the explanation as to why it's grip? Oh, so you're cheating. Gotcha. All right, easy one. What command can be used to gather information about active connections on a device? This is a netstat question. Netstat is a tool to just check for active connections. Ping is to ping to check the response of whether a server is up or not. Trace route is to check the amount of hops you need to go from source to destination, and then route print is the print of the entire route. Yep, netstat is used to show the active connections on a device. The option dash a, which is a one of the parameters in the netstat command, or the binary, shows all active connections. The dash B option associates the no Windows binary with the IP address conversation, and the dash N option displays IP addresses without resolving names. And then, traceroute shows a path between two devices. Ping is used to test connectivity between two devices, and route print is to show the routing table on a Windows device. Yep, I agree. Um, yeah, change mod is I think the correct answer here. What command can be used to query a DNS server and determine names and IP addresses? Query a DNS server, huh? Sounds like an NS lookup question. The NS lookup command is used to query a DNS server and determine names and IP addresses. It is common in Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and other operating systems. And then net status to show active connections. ARP-A is to show the MAC addresses in the local ARP cache, and then path ping is merging, what does it say? Is a command that merges together the functionality of ping and traceroute to create a single command, and runs traceroute to a destination IP address and measures the round trip time every hop along the way. All right, cool. Good to know. All right. See. You got it. You want to move on to the next question? All right. What command can be used to map an entire path between two devices and determine um, what routers may be between point A and point B? This sounds like traceroute. Yep, traceroute or traceRT in Windows can be used to map an entire path between two devices and determine what routers may be between point A and point B. It uses the time to live (TTL) parameter to cause routers to create an error message, which then used to build the route. ICMP time exceeded message are commonly received via the routers, meaning if you can't hit the endpoint uh, uh, or this is set up, you'll just get a time exceeded. It won't ping that router. The incorrect options are ipconfig, lookup, and ping, which are used to map an entire path between two devices, but to gather different types of network information. You sure it's not Telnet? I'm joking. I'm joking. What is the harvester tool used for in reconnaissance? Well, we didn't learn about this in a previous question, but just looking at the term harvester, to harvest is to gather, right? So just eliminating these, we can immediately see that C would be the correct answer. Gather open source intelligence from a public website or public websites. You can go to Bing or Google you can gather information from LinkedIn, many other resources. For instance, if you wanted to find everybody on LinkedIn that match a particular domain, you can have Harvester automatically find the information and present it to you on the screen. Harvester can also provide things like DNS brute force, so it can identify not only DNS services that may be publicly available, but it can find a host that may not be automatically identified in a DNS server. For example, if you you may be able to find a VPN server or an email server by running some of the brute force tasks within Harvester. Therefore, option C is correct. And the others don't really make sense from a terminology standpoint. Okay. B. context clues. Yep. And PowerShell, I mean, in of itself is a shell tool. Telnet is a tool to communicate. It's a binary file that's in shell to communicate between two servers. Python is a programming language, and OpenSSL is a well, it's a it can be a binary. It is a standard. OpenSSL in of itself is um, a large a large open source project, and usually it's really just to make sure that HTTPS is essentially encryption is enabled on your websites or servers. What is Nmap? Uh, we learned this in a previous question. Uh, Nmap is a port scanner. Nmap, or network mapper, is a free and open source tool used for network exploration and security auditing. It scans networks to identify hosts and services they are running. That services they are running that are running. I assume this is a typo. As well as the operating system they are using. It also discovers open ports on the host systems. All right, let's see here. Sounds like you've made a couple Python scripts yourself back, you know. Which command can be used to see all active connections currently being used in the device? So we don't have to read the question. This is a netstat question. It's based on active connections. So netstat-a is the answer. Yep, the dash A shows all active connections that are being used currently on the device. This is useful reconnaissance tool to determine what IP addresses may be communicating into your device and what IP addresses our device may be communicating to. And that explains the other tools. Any of this stuff you wanted to go over? Any advice you would give to someone who is new to this on how to answer this type of question? aka read the questions. What is the command to view the last five lines of a file? This well, we had a question like this before. So this is a tail question. Oh no, the typo. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll have to let Josh know about that one. I have to take a screenshot of that. Send it to Josh. All right, yeah, I got the screenshot. Let's move on. All right, he's going with C. Bing, bing, you got it. And then the tool is used by SEC professionals to replay capture network traffic on the network, or sorry, onto the network interface card or the NIC, so that other devices on the network can see the traffic. Um, tool is used for testing functionality of security devices such as intrusion prevention systems and firewalls to see if they can recognize and block malicious traffic. It is also used to stress test other devices on the network, such as switches and firewalls. All right. Which command allows you to map an entire path between two devices and uses ICMP time to live exceeded error messages from routers on the network? Sounds like a traceroute question yet again. Traceroute command allows you to map an entire path between two devices to know exactly what router may be between point A and point B. And the way I answered this question was mostly of in the entire path between two devices. Yeah. All right, going with Netcat A. Let's see. Right. Oh, I should have marked that one as hard. My bad. So it would come back to the question. Right. My bad. What parameter is manipulated to cause ICMP time exceeded messages in the traceroute command? This is TTL. Time to live, or TTL, message is the parameter that is manipulated to cause ICMP time exceeded messages in the traceroute command. TTL is a value within the IP packet that designates how many hops or routers a particular packet should go through until it is allowed to be dropped by the routers. Okay, by manipulating the TTL value, it is possible to receive ICMP time exceeded messages, which are used by the trace route command to build the routes. All right, he says A. Let's see. Yeah, this is a textbook Wireshark question. As soon as you see you don't have to say the easiest way, but just to simply capture raw data from a network, right? This would immediately lean towards a Wireshark question because Wireshark is essentially the raw data of a network. When you start Wireshark and start capturing, you see everything. You see every connection that's going, and um, then the files that get saved, the PC the PCAP files, could then be used to showcase to people exactly what the packet contains and if it's malicious and whatnot by analysis. Not too many jobs use Wireshark. Usually these tasks get transferred unless like you're doing pen testing to some of the sim tools. Um, so let's move on. Which command allows you to view only the first 5 lines of a file? I think we had this question before. Answer is D. We'll move on because we went over this. All right. Let's see. Answer is he chose A. Let's see. Okay, we'll come back to this one in about 6 minutes. What is the purpose of using scanless? To perform vulnerability scan on the remote IP, well, this would be like a Nessus question. To identify open ports, this would be like an Nmap question. To proxy a port scan through a different host, that sounds like what scanless would do, and then gather information from a DNS server. This would be harvester, or sorry, NS lookup. Yeah. See, scanless is a utility that allows users to perform port scan through a proxy, effectively hiding the source of the scan. This can be used for avoiding detection during reconnaissance activities. Options include choosing which proxy to use and which port to scan. And the last one, it looks like there's a DNS enum question. So the DNS enum would fulfill D, and then Nmap uh, would perform B, along with hping, or really any TCP acknowledgement tool, and then A would be Nessus. Right? It says D. Let's see. Which of the following is a reconnaissance tool that combines information from various tools to provide a single set of queries for all functions? So it combines information from various tools. Okay, so this is a tool. Curl is a tool. hping is a tool. Nessus is a tool, but it's for vulnerability scans. So by process of elimination here, C is the correct answer. Sniper. I haven't personally used Sniper before, but seems like it would fulfill this case here. Yep, Sniper is a reconnaissance tool that combines information from various tools, and then it explains what curl does. Curl is a tool to grab raw data from websites. hping is a tool to provide a lot more information from performing a regular ping scan. That's just a vulnerability scanner used to identify vulnerabilities in remote IP addresses. All right, B. What command can be used to show all active connections? Okay, this is an nmap question, but it also indicates what option should, or sorry, an nstat question. Just said that wrong. What option should be used in Windows to associate the connections with a binary? So this is a dash n dash a would show all active connections. Wait, hold on. Yeah, this one might stump me here, but I think the answer here is C. Yeah. The dash A should be added to show all active connections in Windows. The option dash B should be added to associate the connections with a binary. I feel like this question is a little poorly worded here. Dash A shows IP addresses and not active connections. All right, let's move on. Oh, B. Yep, redemption, dude. What is a tool commonly used in Windows for imaging drivers and can also read DD, Ghost, and Expert Witness image formats? Ooh, um, this is FTK Imager. The FTK Imager is a widely used tool in Windows that can mount drives, manage image drivers, or perform file utilities in a Windows executable. It can also read DD Ghost and Expert Witness image formats. It can save those files into other formats. Okay, so this is like a good if you work in forensics, right? A good tool that you would use uh, and probably get really familiar with. And hey, look at that! It's the forensic section of Professor Measures CISA 1 videos. Uh oh, did you want to know? Oh, it is, yeah, section 4.5. All right, DNS edom. Yep, you got it. Anything you want to go over for this question, or is you good? What tool provides digital forensics of information that is stored on a storage device or in an image file and allows viewing and recovery of the data from these devices? Uh, Sounds like another FTK imager question. Ooh, that's a good one. It could be autopsy. Maybe I read it too quickly. Let's see. Provide provide digital forensics of information that is stored on a storage device or in an image file. Yeah, it could be autopsy. Let's see. See. Hey, there we go. Autopsy is a tool to provide digital forensics of information that is stored on a storage device or an image file. It allows us to view and recover data from these devices as well. Uh, Autopsy can, I want to say auto SP for some reason. um, Autopsy can also view different kinds of data, such as download files, browser history, email messages, databases, graphic files, and more. Which of the following? Oh, sorry, that's your question. Uh, okay, I think it's D. All right. Which of the following statements is true regarding exploitation frameworks? They're used for imaging the drives on partition. Well, no. Used for creating backups of system memory. They allow security professionals to perform custom attacks and add new modules. That sounds about right. They are used for brute force attacks on password files. Well, they can they can be, but yeah, C sounds like the best option here. Yep, exploitation frameworks allow SEC professionals to perform custom attacks and add modules to exploit vulnerabilities on systems. Frameworks like Metasploit and Social Engineer Toolkit provides a collection of known vulnerabilities and ability to add new modules as more vulnerabilities are discovered. This allows the SEC professionals to test the vulnerability of systems within an environment. Both these tools are available in Kali Linux. So if you are curious or want to explore these tools, install Kali Linux on your machine or VM. All right, D, you got it. How did you answer this question? Why wasn't the answer Nmap? Nmap scans ports. Okay. What tool can be used to perform high-speed brute force attacks when trying to identify passwords from password hashes? Well, this would be any real password cracker, right? Um, John the Ripper, as an example. It's a popular password cracking tool. It is also open source. So stay safe out there. And yeah, 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 yep. Yes, yes. John the Ripper was a part of the labs in that class, and it is available on Kali itself once you install it. Right, it comes prepackaged. So, yep. Uh, yeah. Stay safe. Don't be using this for bad reasons, and hopefully you don't have a good word list to start brute forcing on. Because if you do, then it's done so for the other individuals. It's you. Okay. Going with A. I'm going with C. I think it comes with Windows Terminal. Let's see. Uh, well, I guess I gotta update my Oh My Bash. Okay, am I good? All right, here we go. Curl. Yeah, that's here. So if we like show us the output, good for open source. People gathering intelligence about a website. Maybe something a little bit more. Uh, let's see. What website can we actually curl that would give us good data here? It'd have to be something. Maybe they could do the hexacorn blog because that's pretty basic. Remove that stuff. Ooh, they blocked it. All right. Sorry, just messing around here. Seeing what kind of output we can get. We can not curl YouTube. Um, and then GitHub, I assume, would return nothing. Uh, Reddit. Yeah, guess that wouldn't give us anything. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I guess we got to add the HTTPS to the calls. Let's try that hexacorn website again because I guess that was the fluke here. Yeah, there we go. So spews out the entire HTML uh, using that on that web page, similar to what you would do in inspect, right? When you inspect the page on your browser, but you can also manipulate it. You could send a post message like there's getters, there's a get, and there's a post, right? In the API space. Yeah, so you could if there's no security, you could technically just throw code at this and manipulate this website. But it's good to know. You can see other things like goes there's a website that it points to, and there's a link, and then there's this random name and it says malware, right? So good question. Next, we got two more. What is data sanitization? Uh, Process of removing data and making it uncoverable. Clean your tracks, right? Data sanitization is the process of completely removing data and making it so that none of the data can be recovered. This is commonly done if you want to reuse or sell storage or devices. If you want to sanitize a single file, that's on your system. However, once you delete this information using these tools, there's no way to recover it unless you have a backup of that data that has been done that has now been permanently erased. So there are tools like for doing this. A very popular tool is if you open up Brave here, um, there's a tool called DBAN. It can be stored on a USB flash drive, and essentially, if we just go to the images here, it is an operating system that will run, and then you could you know, uh, nuke a drive. The DBAN stands for uh, Darix boot and nuke. So once you go into it, there's various options to nuke a drive and make the data unrecoverable for purposes of selling uh, um, or just wiping the data. And there's you can do pretty heavy wipes that are methods used by the DoD or the Department of Defense. You can kind of see here the options here, the explanations of what they do. Which command can you use to view active connections between your device and other devices, such as well as associated? I feel like we've, well, no, we have not had this question. The ending here is different. Yeah, yeah. I feel like this question would be harder if there are various netstat options like dash A, dash N, right? So answer here is B, just by and here is C by elimination. The but as the way you answer this question is you kind of say as well as well, it's asking us active connections as well as the Windows binary attached to the IP conversation. So I mean, the dash B option does show you that. Dash N only shows you the IP addresses, does not show you the active connections. All right, last one. Yeah, and maybe a dumb way to remember these type of questions is to think about what you would do on a tabletop, or if you're playing tabletop tennis, it would be like a very casual conversation. I don't. That might be a terrible way of remembering it, but that's a way. Yeah, very casual conversation you'd have with somebody over leaning over a table or playing tennis. All right, we're done. There we go. That that finishes up section 4, 20 questions. There are a lot of questions we can go over in the CompTIA deck here. If we try to browse, sorry. Yeah, so there's a lot of questions that are available. There are over 1,000 questions that are in here. Some of them are new, some of them we've visited. You can kind of see there's a date on these as to when we visited the question, right? And yeah, so this is these little decks that Josh made are really useful. Just kind of giving you explanations of what tools are and how what they do. Because in the real test or the test that you can do online, you really can only see the answer. You can't see why the other ones are not the answer, right? So that's why I like the deck. And you can change these up. You can do 100 questions in one section uh, if you really need to focus on this section because you're weak at it. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, thanks, man, for joining me tonight. Um, and yeah, yeah. And if it would be more useful to go over the professor measure stuff, that works too. Um, I'd questioned whether going over content like that is uh, if you can, right? Uh, but who knows? I mean, I don't think anyone is really watching, but maybe one day, who knows? Uh, all right. Thanks for watching, and